StemCivics Show. I'm Zara, and we're here with Rayon, Bonetta, Siani, and Miss Man. Today we'll be considering two big parts of society and culture, race and social media. If you'd like to call in and join our discussion, please call 609-460-4673. Once again, 609-460-4673. Before we begin our discussion, we'll each go around and introduce ourselves by first name, grade, and describe ourselves in under 10 words. My name is Zara, and I'm a charismatic, fun person.
I'm Siani, I'm a sophomore, and I'm leader of the rebellion.
I'm Rayon, and I'm in the 10th grade, and I'm outside the box person.
Hi, I'm Ms. Bonetta, and I'm a sophomore, and I'm an innovator.
I'm Miss Man, and I am a teacher, and I am, a teacher and a student all the time.
After the election, we found ourselves in a country more divided than ever. In many ways, it's divided along the social lines. We'll start today with a consideration of race and society. Please remember that we are discussing this topic to explore and consider different viewpoints, and we don't mean to offend anyone. To begin, what are all your first thoughts when you hear the word race?
Color.
Same.
Discrimination.
Also same.
The same.
I think of color, I think of race as just something that, as like the color of your skin, the color of your outside. I don't think it's really defined who a person actually is, because like people can act black or act white, but we're just still the same human being.
Yeah, I think when I hear the word race, I think of discrimination. I think of people feeling bad about who they are or what they are, and that's I don't really understand what racism. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think what's the difference between a black person and a white person, or a Asian person and an Indian person? I think on the inside we're just all the same person. I think if you look at a human skull, two human skulls and stuff in the inside, would you be able to tell the difference between a white person or a black person?
The reason I think of discrimination is because most people just put you in a category with your race. If they see on the news that one black person shot up a whole school, they're going to assume that all black people are like that. Or if you see a white person doing that, they assume that all white people are the same. It's like you have to take a chance and get to know somebody before you ever judge them. And I don't think it's okay to put somebody in a group of people when you don't know them, especially as something as silly as race, when underneath the skin, we are the same.
I think stereotypes rule the world, I think. I really think.
They really do. Because
there's always something about a race that people they associate that race with, and whether that be good or bad. I think everyone's different. They shouldn't be associated with one thing just because of their skin color.
Variety is the spice of life. I feel like you should associate yourself with people of all different races, not just your race. Because you being around people who are just like you, and then you go out into the real world, you're going to work with people that are different than you, that look different than you.
So
and if you don't have that experience, how are you going to survive?
Right.
That's so true. Well, I have a question. My question is, does racist discrimination occur in every ethnicity?
Yeah, it even occurs in your own. Like we all, I think sometimes race discrimination is sometimes intentional. Like I don't think that people, some people, a small group of people do it on purpose. Like I know I do it unintentionally, but sometimes I'm just joking around. But at the same time, I go back and sit down and think about it. I'm like, wow, that really could have offended somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't do it on purpose. I don't think lots of people do it on purpose. At least people our age, like people we hang around with, we don't do it on purpose, but we do it.
Yeah.
And I think that
it's like the culture.
We need to start thinking about what we say before we say it, because we can even be offending ourselves. Like you say something to your mom, you probably offending your mom. You never know.
Yeah. I think this whole racist thing has come into the fact that this is what we were born into, this is what we're taught, and sometimes we can be racist towards ourselves, as Siani was saying. Sometimes if I see a black person versus a white person and they're kind of dressed the same, or they're looking they're disadvantaged, who am I going to be scared of, the black person or the white person? Yeah. And in my heart, I'm going to be totally honest, I would be more afraid of the black person than the white person, because statistics has showed that more in my community, more African Americans are committing the crimes than there are whites and stuff. So in my experiences, African Americans have been the ones to cause the harm and you know, the violence in my community. So initially I would be scared of, you know, the African American.
Yeah, like I said, like stereotypes. Not all black people are the same. Not all white people are the same. There are some Caucasian people that have committed crimes. There are some black people that committed crimes. So yeah, like when the media bases those stereotypes around one specific race, and like it like controls the mind to believe that this is what the race consists of.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I personally don't feel that way. Like if I see a black person versus a white person, because like if I walk past a store, there's a whole group of black guys there. I don't know. I don't feel like scared or nothing because they always there to just sit there. But if I see a white guy with them, I'm like, whoa, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. Get out of here.
What do you mean they don't belong there?
Like, because I don't know why, but for as long as I remember, like Trenton is the bottom. Trenton is the hood. That's where black people at. No white person belongs to live in, should be living in Trenton. So when I see a white person, there's like, whoa, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be living in like the suburbs or something? But as I've gotten older,
ourselves.
I know like as I've gotten older, I've realized that people of all different races have all different economical disadvantages and situations. And a white person can be living in the hood, and a black person could be living in the big mansion in the suburbs. So I don't know. You never know. But I don't feel that way. Like I don't really. Probably if I go to the projects and I see a whole group of people, I'll feel something that way. But if I like walk down the street and I see a whole group of guys, I'm just like, all right, whatever. Because they tend to stay to themselves, especially if you're not known.
Right.
So you're not known. They stay to themselves. You don't do nothing to them. They ain't doing nothing to you.
I agree with most of the stuff that you're saying because before, like a couple of years ago, I was just like inbound in Trenton. I never really left Trenton. But as soon as I started exploring, I don't know if you guys realize, but the outskirts of Trenton has lots of white people. If you go near West Trenton and around there, like my mom, she works around there. There's lots of white people, and it's still considered Trenton. So I was wondering, I'm like, some parts of Trenton are beautiful, and some parts are not. I just think we're seeing the parts that are not so beautiful, but then if you really look at it, Trenton is not a bad place.
That's what social media has put into place about Trenton. Like they show the not so good parts in Trenton, like,
and they forget to show the good.
Yeah, the litter on the street or the guys hanging on the corner. But like, there's like amazing things that happens in Trenton. Like just a couple months ago, a guy got drafted into NBA. He grew up in Trenton, New Jersey, and like there's like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of good things that happens in Trenton, but like I said, social media like only represents the bad things.
But you have to think about how they're looking at it too. They're going to look at what's big.
Yeah, the big picture.
What makes up most of Trenton? And
what the headlines are talking about.
Like they're going to talk about bad stuff. They're not going to talk about anything good, and that draws people away from Trenton. Like nobody's going to want to compare and help because they're scared for their lives. It's like today I was talking to one of the teachers, and she was saying how she went to one of the stores on Calhoun, and then there's another store in the same chain up by where I live, and I was like, oh, you should come up to our store, the same store owned by the same people up where I live. She's like, no, I'm not going around there, and I'm like, okay, I get it, because so many people told her that it's just a bad place to be, a whole group of guys just hang up there, but I'm like, you're still in the same like town, like I don't know how to describe it, but like I don't know. It's just like how if people just believe what they're told, then how are they going to survive in the world?
And I think with discrimination comes colorism, because we also discriminate each other, and we just, especially as the African American community, because I'm a big makeup fanatic, and I go to lots of cosmetic stores all the time, and I shop for these things. And as I look in there, the color of foundation, because I like to shop for foundation. The color of foundation, you'll see. If you go in the foundation aisle, right, you'll see a lot of white foundation, fair skin foundation. But as you go in, there's so many colors of black people. There's like different varieties. I mean, for white people, there's a lot of varieties too. But compared to the blacks, there's so many different variants of the color black. It can go from the lightest of the light of brown to the darkest of the dark. And I think that we discriminate each other because we want to be. We're like at the bottom, but we want to be at the top of the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like we want to be the top of the worst. Like, we want to make the best of our situation. In that sense, we discriminate each other, like brown skin versus light skin, like dark skin versus light skin. We discriminate each other. And that makes no sense, because while people are discriminating us, we're discriminating each other. I mean, how do we feel about that? Like, how do we feel about this, light skin versus dark skin? Aren't we the same, like, African American?
I don't know.
read. Oh, sorry.
You can go.
Okay, so I read. No, I didn't read. I wrote an essay about that. Now there's like all these skin shades for the darkest of the dark or the lightest of the light. But before, like 10 years ago, my mom said like foundation for her. Like my mom, she's a very dark, rich woman. Like she has really dark skin. And she was like, 10 years ago when she started wearing makeup, she couldn't, because like there wasn't foundation for her skin color. Because like, the foundation skin color is like, it reached like the lightest of the light. Like there wasn't like a rich dark color. So I was like, why does someone have to lose confidence and have like a lack of beauty because of a makeup artist, like the makeup company's ignorance? Like we should be making like foundation for like the people of like my mom's skin color. Like I mean, no one should feel less than beautiful because of someone that doesn't want like, or there hasn't been enough research for the foundation.
I also think that because maybe growing up, people of darker skin were bullied so bad about it, and them growing up, I think they want to find the foundation that'll make them look lighter and like make them change their skin color, or they get like cosmetic surgeries to make themselves look lighter. And it's like people need to realize that words really do hurt and affect a person's life.
Right.
Like I think now there are darker people that go to our school, and then people make fun of them all the time, and it's kind of like, okay, we doing it for jokes, but like, and you laugh about it, and they laugh about it, but it's like, at some point you're gonna sit down and think about this, and it's gonna be like, wow, am I really like that?
Yeah, and another thing, the guys after school, we're like a mixed school. We have blacks and we have Latinos. Yeah. So like, yeah, so there's like the guys that would like typically go for the Latinos because of their lighter skin, their longer hair. Like, we all know that's true. We see it every day. The guys that usually pick the Latinos more, and I think they're still like
discriminating us. Discriminating
your
own people.
Yeah, they think they're like, they like try to find different things like why they don't like, but like
black girls too loud.
Right. Black girls so like, ratchet. They so ghetto.
But I think in the back of their head, like they think of that, the colorism. I think.
Yeah, and I think this all stems from let me just say slavery time, because in slavery, the lighter tone people will be in the house, while the darker tone people will be in the fields. And the people that worked in the house, although they did have it rough, they didn't have it as bad as the people in the fields. So people will want to work in the house, as a house slave. And I think this stems from all that. Like people that were lighter were considered back then, better than the people that were darker, because we want to get closest to the best, and the best that is perceived is white.
That's kind of how when black people had to sit on the back of the bus, and how Rosa Parks fought for that. And now when you get on a school bus, all black kids want to do is sit at the back of the bus.
Yes, in the back.
Like that is so weird. Like I think about that all the time. It's like people fought so hard for us to be able to sit in the front of the bus, but all we want to do is sit in the back.
Right.
And it's like, is history repeating itself? But are we doing that? Like what's going on?
I think more of the question is, I think more of the question is they fought not necessarily to sit at the front, but to have the choice to sit either at the front or the back. But also speaking to your point, as someone who didn't grow up in a neighborhood that had a lot of African American citizens, like just in the community, when I went into makeup stores, there was almost never a wide diversity of foundation. So kind of like your mother was saying, like 10 years ago, they didn't offer foundation in darker skin tones.
We have a phone call, by the way.
Oh.
Hi, caller. Who are you and what's the question? Go ahead. Hello? I hear you out there. Hello? They hung up.
That better not be my mom.
Try again.
But anyways, in terms of the cosmetics, because of the places I lived in, there wasn't that diversity. And I always thought that was really odd, because it wasn't like there were no African Americans or anybody of a darker skin tone in my community. It's just like they're an extreme minority. Or when I go to Hong Kong, there's none. There's like fair to like sort of tan, because again, it was a very homogenous place. And so, but if you didn't think about it, you never noticed it. So I found it really interesting, Benetta, when you brought up, like, today, when you walk in the store, you do see a lot of diversity, which is wonderful. And I'm glad that that happens. But I think in every community, it's slightly different as well. They market towards who's there. And I think that causes sometimes additional problems. I don't know. So do you guys have anything to add before we move on to our next question?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, next
Let's
question.
move on.
So do you guys think, with all this talk about race and colorism, is race a real thing? Is it something that is
course.
like,
Definitely.
It's real, but I think it's a subconscious thing because we don't actually know when we're being racist, but we are being racist. I mean, sometimes we say some kind of jokes, we are being racist. It's a subconscious thing. Like, it's something that, that we can't help, but, it comes out, although we don't want it to come out.
Right.
I don't know, because people are always going to make fun of you for being different. So I don't think it's just a matter of your race. I think it's just because you look different from them, they're just going to say something regardless, just to make themselves feel better, or because it's just how they were brought up. Like, if somebody's different from you, it's not right. So put them down.
if race is a real thing, but racism, how would you define racism? Because it sounds like most of you think racism is a bad thing, but if race is a real thing, and racism is kind of just like seeing race to a certain extent, how would you define racism?
Well, I'll define racism as discrimination against another person for their culture, their background, their not just particularly their skin tone, but like, racism is like discrimination from others like that are different from you, that are come from different areas and different backgrounds, and that are not like you.
I'm pretty sure racists are only mean to people because their race is different. Or
I mean, not
because
just that. Like, you can be you can be white and still be racist to an Irish person, or like you can be white American and still be like racist
Irish
to like an Irish.
still white.
Yeah, but
it's
that's
more
what
or less the color of your skin, not where you come from.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think it's necessarily your skin. I think it's necessarily where you come from and your culture and your background. I mean, I think it stems from people that are different from you. I think that's what racism is. Like people that are different.
Think that's all just discrimination in general, not racist.
Well, race is
racism
discrimination.
I'm talking about like what she's saying isn't specifically racism. Because when I think of racism, I think of people making fun of you because of the color of your skin. What she's talking about is just discrimination in general, because maybe because you have an accent and I don't, or because you're Irish and like you're a leprechaun or something. I don't know. But like I don't like associate that with racism. What she's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Then what would you guys say about like anti-Semitism? So if anti-Jewish, so if you think like Holocaust, anti-Semitism, would you consider that racism?
Yeah. You're discriminating.
Because
I would just say discrimination against religion or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, because I think unless you're saying something about their race, I don't think I would associate it with racism. Mm-hmm. It depends on how it's laid out to me, I guess.
Okay. So if somebody defines someone else as like a race and then is discriminatory about that race specifically, regardless of like skin tone, you would consider that racism?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
What you have to say, Rayon? You had to say something?
Oh, okay. Putting Rayon on the spot.
You did this to Rudy. We did it to Rudy. That was funny.
So
when it comes to racism, sorry, I don't mean to cut
No.
in, but a question I actually wrote down when you guys were talking about like the outskirts of Trenton, this idea of like you only see maybe African Americans in certain areas of Trenton, then you travel outwards. What if you grow up and you never meet someone of a different race than yourself, no matter what race you are? What if you grow up and you just never?
That's where ignorance stems from.
You'll probably be scared of them or something like that.
think
And be
no.
like, whoa.
I'm sorry.
probably be curious.
I would be curious. I would be like excited to see someone different from me. Like I like new things. Like I like meeting new people. I like learning about new other religions and stuff. So I would think I would be excited. Like I would like be all in their face. Like what is this? What are you doing? Like stuff like that. I don't think I would be like what you're doing is wrong, or I don't like that, or you look like stuff. I think I would just be excited.
I think I would react how I reacted when I see white people like in the hood of Trenton. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, what's going on here?
I think, well, I've actually met people who have not met black people before. I went to this program. It was in Pottstown, New Jersey, and during there, like when I came in, there was like let's see, like five. It was like 130 of us, and there were like 5 African Americans. And I actually had a kid come up to me and be like, "Oh, where are you from?" Well, I told him I'm from Trenton, and be like, my background and stuff. And they were like, "Wow, I never really saw black people in person. I only saw them on television." And I was just like, "Yeah." He told me he only saw them on television, and I mean, I think it's all how you present it. I mean, he was curious to know where we came from, what we did. And although some of the questions was iffy, but I mean, I don't blame him because he's ignorant. He was ignorant, but I mean, the way he presented it to me was like, it was well-mannered. And he's like, "Oh, do you guys, have like the gangs and like, the dangerous stuff?" He said dangerous stuff. I was like, what dangerous stuff?
That's like when I went to my summer program and I was talking to some of the people and then they were curious about Trenton, and it's like, y'all from the hood too, just another hood, like another city. Like it's kind of the same as y'all. It's just that we're a bit smaller.
When I went to Taiwan, I was on a teacher's program. One of my fellow teachers was African American, and she had these long dreads, really beautiful, and the ends were like dyed or something. And when you're in Taiwan, it's again homogenous. Everybody is Taiwanese. Everybody's Chinese. They all kind of look like me: black hair, fair skin, dark eyes. And the kids, and these are like 5th to 7th graders, would come up to my friend and just like pull on her hair and just like touch it, and they're like, "What is this? How did you get like this?" And when we'd walk around the stores, the storekeepers would look at me and just like, "How did you get her hair to look like that?" Or like, "What is going on? Is it a wig?" And I always found like that part of kind of African American identity has always been a huge, for people who do not know, and as somebody who's like kind of both American and also Asian, has always been like the curious part for a lot of my friends who have never ventured outside of Asia, because it's very physical, and it's very different from what they have and what they know.
I think different cultures and races and backgrounds and stuff should be taught to kids so stuff like that won't happen, because you never know how a person is going to react.
Yeah,
so true.
My friend was very lucky. They were very like, my friend was very like accepting. I was like, they obviously have no clue.
Yeah.
That like touching my hair in the middle of the store is probably not the most appropriate thing to do ever. But it was always awkward to translate. I was like, she'd like it if you could stop doing that. All right, so we have a few minutes left. So do you guys think racism will ever end?
No.
Yes.
No.
I think it'll end.
I think it would.
Right,
Like
so-
Siani said, I think if we continue, democracy and like change takes a while, but I think if we start pushing forward and we start giving it a chance, like if we start talking about it, if we start discussing, if we start giving, opening our doors and stop being so closed in to our little boundaries, we can stop this ignorance of race. Because I think being racist is just ignorance.
Right.
Like I don't
We
think
need
you
to
can definitely find something that's wrong with a person just because of their skin color. There's never going to be a person that you don't like just because of their skin color. I mean, it stems from ignorance. Yeah, I think if we teach it and we preach about it and we talk about it, I think we'll learn to be more accepting of each other, because this is what we're taught. We are taught to do these things. I think we preach about it and we talk about it. Like if you continue to see more white people in your neighborhood, you'll feel like they belong there. Like even though it's like a bad community, I think you'll feel like they belong there because you continue to see them every day, and this is where they belong, quote unquote.
Well, you have to remember that do you remember? I don't like when I go to school, half the stuff that when I go home, it goes like right out my ear. So
Thanks.
if I'm not, sorry, Miss Ma'am. So if I think you also have to remember what you're taught in school and what you're taught at home are
You
two
teach it in
completely
both
different
places.
things. But you have to also if your parents tell you that these are bad people, you're most likely going to stay away from them, especially if it's from a young age. But if your teacher's telling you one thing, it depends. I think it depends on the kid, because some kids are open to change. Other people are like, no, I don't like that. But I don't know, because I think if it's taught right, and if it's taught from a young age in both home and in school, and maybe other places too, then okay, maybe racism will get smaller. I don't think it's ever going to stop, because people don't like what they can't understand. Even if you teach it, you're not going to necessarily understand why a person is doing something unless you're in their shoes. So I don't know, because people don't like what they can't understand. You can't understand it, you're not going to like it.
That's true.
Wait, what was the question again?
So do you think racism will really ever end?
No, I don't think it would. I mean, like, look at our president. He's a racist, sexist.
Oh, President-elect.
We may still be able to get him out.
Well, Donald Trump is a racist, and a
Misogynistic,
sexist, whatever that is. I don't know what that
homophobic,
yeah, I don't think
basically
Xenophobic.
stuck in his
a person
ways.
will like pick like one little tiny thing not to like about you, like the way your eyebrows look, your color, the clothes you wear, all of that. So, yeah, I don't think it will never end.
Okay. We have to take a short break, but we'll be right back after these messages to continue our discussion.
Hello, I'm Stephen Harris of Entrepreneur Espresso. Summer is over. Time to get back to business. Actually, here in the Delaware River towns, we are always open for business. Come join me as we discuss local business ideas, and trends, and get expert advice on Entrepreneur Espresso. Yes, we are back with a new format here on PANJ Radio, your local digital radio station. However, we need your support. Consider being a sponsor or an advertiser, which will help us to deliver the business news you can use, along with techniques and ideas you can use right now to help your business grow. We will discuss trends in social media, web marketing, traditional marketing, and other ways to tell your business story and attract and grow your customer base. And we are now on TuneIn Radio, a mobile app, which will give you a bigger reach in Lambertville, New Hope, the Delaware River towns, and the world. Join us live next week at 11 a.m. on Tuesday for Entrepreneur Espresso, only here on PANJ Radio. Visit us on Facebook or contact Stephen at 973-615-5287 or radio at ampyourvoice.com. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Deirdre Anderson with Delish Catering,
And I'm Laura Mangone from Chambers Walk Cafe and Catering.
and we'd like you to join us on Food for Thought, where what do we talk about, Laura? We talk about restaurants, we talk about
Pet
recipes,
peeves,
pet
food.
peeves, bitchy hostesses,
All sorts of food-related items.
all sorts of
Tune
food
in.
stuff, and sometimes not so much food stuff. We go off on segues, but we have a lot of fun, don't we?
Absolutely.
So join us on Food for Thought.
PANJradio.com, 1 o'clock weekdays.
Hi, you're listening to Joey Novick, and I am the host of Punchlines and Politics. We air live every Monday, 7 p.m. right here on WPANJradio.com, and that show repeats at 6. Each day, we have some of the best people from politics and some of the most fantastically funny comedians in New Jersey. So please, listen to me, come in the studio, and enjoy the show. Joey Novick, Punchlines and Politics.
Your business only gets one chance to make a first impression. That's why Green Birdie Productions offers free re-edits on every high-definition video we create. Our Emmy Award-winning staff and green screen special effects studio guarantee the quality we strive
Hello,
for.
can you hear me?
It's no wonder most of our business comes from referrals. Green Birdie Productions.
Please hold on.
Compelling video, competitive price.
Hi, this is Bernie Wagenblast, and hopefully Vinny V is not stuck in traffic right now, and we'll be able to do his show in the green room here on PANJradio.com. You'll find all sorts of interesting things that are going on in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania. So tune in to Vinny V and In the Green Room.
Okay, caller, are you there? Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Yes, we can. Okay. Take it away.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. This is
Miss Jones.
Hey, Miss Jones. Hey, Miss Jones. Hello.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Sure, what's your question?
My question, I was listening to the forum and you guys were talking about or answering the response to the question of whether or not you thought racism would ever stop or cease. And I heard the various opinions, but my question to you is what role or what part do you as young people play in bridging the gap between diverse communities and cultures?
I think if us young people, spread knowledge about racism and get other children and other millennials into the circle and to try to stop it, I think that would be a great step into stopping racism.
I think as millennials, we should be the pioneers of, getting this idea of stopping racism and bridging and gapping our barriers and bridging it all together and coming together. I think we should be the forefront because right now I think we're young, we're pretty, we can absorb knowledge. I don't think we've had that much, time here for us to get really stuck on something. I think we're always changing our minds. So right now I think it's the perfect time for us to get on board and, push things forward. We might not be able to change maybe the older generation, but even the new generation that's coming along, we can change that. And I think that's even better.
One thing about most of us, I think we're followers. So I think if we see the cool or popular person befriend somebody from somewhere else, then the pack will follow.
I believe if we come together and truly understand why we do the things that we do, how the way we dress, how the way we eat, how the way we talk, we will have a better understanding of each other and be more accepting to each other.
Did that answer your question?
How about that?
Answers my question. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling in.
Bye, Miss Jones.
We love you, Miss Jones.
Love you. See you tomorrow, maybe.
Okay.
All right, so Ms. Jones actually brings up a really good point, this idea of what is our role in combating racism. And I think one of those things that you guys are actually really good at is social media. And that is one of the tools at our disposal, right? It's one of the things that you guys are really great at that someone like me, though not that much older than you are, but I came along a little bit before the heyday of social media, are really good at using and implementing and changing the world. So first off, Bonetta, you want to ask the question?
Okay. Welcome back to the StemCivics Show. If you're just joining us, I'm Bonetta, and I'm here with Miss Man, Zaras, Yanni, and Rayon. If you'd like to call in, please call 609-460-4673. Again, 609-460-4673.
Call us.
In our first half, we consider the topic of race in society. Another big influence in society is social media. There's so many social media platforms out there. What are your favorites?
I think the there's this big hashtag trend going on talking about the cigarettes, stopping the cigarettes and stuff. I think that is amazing. There's parades and these big festivals and shows about these cigarettes. Young people coming together, trying to make a change,
generation to stop
the tobacco
smoking.
companies and how to stop them. It's commercials. They really are they're using social media and their
famous people.
Yeah, they're using social media as their outlet to bring attention to this.
So your favorite kind of social media is the kind that uses itself to create change.
Wait, are we talking about our favorite social media? Yeah, apps or
So it can be app, it can also be the usage of it.
Oh, that's what I was like. What are we
Either one
talking
works. So Zara answered in terms of what the usage of social media, but you guys can also answer in terms of your favorite app. In
I love Instagram. I literally wake up. As soon as I wake up, I go on the phone. I go on Instagram.
Yeah.
I like Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat is my favorite.
But now Snapchat and Instagram is basically the same thing.
Yeah,
because Snapchat copies off of Instagram.
No,
Instagram copies off of Snapchat. Yeah. I'm sorry, Instagram copies off of Snapchat.
Coming at them.
For I think more people are as millennials, we like things quick, and Snapchat is much quicker. You can just.
Hello?
Yes. Hello. Hi, Zakira.
Hey, Kara.
Hey,
Kara. Z-Dog.
What's your question?
Have y'all ever, has someone ever been racist to y'all?
Yes.
Of course.
Plenty of times.
Like I said, I'm a beautician. I like makeup and stuff. And one time I was at a cosmetics store. I was at Sephora. And my sister and I went. It was like a sale or whatever. You know, you never see them expensive stores until they got sales. So I'm here. I'm at the sale. And I'm like walking through the store, and there's a sales lady. Like, I felt that she was following me. Like, I literally felt she was following me. It was like a few of us in the store. It wasn't that much of us. You know, Sephora's a big store. So, you know, I felt like she was just wandering around, because we wandered around a lot of places. Like, it's kind of a big store. And she's like following us. Like, I can literally hear her heels clicking, like when she follows us. So we turned around. We asked her, like, are you following us? And she was like, oh, no. And like, I know you were following me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thought that was super racist, because out of all these people in the store, you follow us. Mm-hmm. Like, only 2 black people in the store.
Like, when it's a whole group of black people, or it's just sometimes when I'm by myself and I'll walk and there's just like a whole bunch of white people, they'll just like look at you, stare you down. And especially if you're in a store, they're gonna think you steal something. It's like, I wouldn't come into a store if I didn't have money, because I'm not going to jail for nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know that store, Cotton On?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was shopping there, right? And their stuff is like really, really pricey. Like, a simple pair of pants could just cost $50. So, right, I'm looking at the jackets and the pants, right? And the lady, she was like, that's a little pricey. Why are you picking that up? So I got offended. I was like, why would you say that to me? Like, you don't know how much money I got on me. So I just walked out the store. So,
yeah, like, you don't get my money.
Like, for real.
Isn't that what someone did to, like, Oprah or something? Like, didn't they, like, in like a little while ago, like
people?
Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody know Oprah got money.
No, I was in a foreign country, and I don't know if she knew her, but it was like a really, really expensive area. We're like $1,000. She was picking up a bag or whatever, and the lady like said something. I don't know, can you afford this bag or something? It was like a huge thing over the news.
My racism story is like yours. Like, they'll follow me around the store, and then they'll say, "Oh, I'm not following you," or like, but you can literally turn around. Like,
you're like right here, like, why could you be at the front desk?
So I hate going to the mall, because like,
go to the front desk.
They'll go all the
white people.
They will go
cashier's desk,
and then like they don't help, Oh, and another story. We went to my mom and my family actually went to a dress shop, and it was like owned by this like little like these little I'm not even gonna say the race. They were owned by another race than the black. So like they just kept looking at us like, why are you in here? Like, they never asked for if we needed help. They just kept staring at us. So mom was like, what's the problem? Like, and they was just like, they didn't say anything. She was like, well, you don't deserve my service. So she just walked out. Like, little things like that. But like, I have experienced racism.
Bugs me, man.
Caller, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any more questions?
No, that's all.
Thank you for calling.
Bye, Kara.
Bye, Kara.
Bye.
I think that illustrates a great point, because Zakira is one of your friends.
Bye.
And this kind of, rewinding it. I'm sorry that you guys, hearing your racism stories makes me really unhappy and upset, and it makes me very sad. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that. And I'm sorry to anybody who has to go through that, because
it's like, why can't we just all get along?
Right. Bridge together.
There are very deep divisions, which I think are undercurrents in those experiences, and that is very problematic, which comes back to Ms. Jones's question about what do we do about it, kind of thing. But I kind of just circling back to our topic. Social media. I guess the way we could transition, let's see if it works. Do you guys think that racism or combating racism can social media have a role in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Because this, like how the dance anthems,
yeah,
maybe like white
people
ruin everything.
It's such a big deal with white people doing it.
Yeah,
I think people ruin everything.
I think that's bringing us together. Like, yeah, we do all the time, but I think when we see another race doing it, like, I think,
like, yeah, get it, girl.
Yeah, girl, you could do it too. I think, like, even at parties, like, when you go to a party, like, you don't just see like black people dancing together and white people dancing together. Now when they have the dance anthem, everyone's having fun. So I like to see, like, other people participating in what what our culture is, given to the world.
You know what I hate? When people be like, "Oh, you listening to that white people music?"
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
"What do you mean?"
I love country music.
You cannot put
I really love country music.
Are you
serious? I love Adele.
I love
me some music.
I love alternative.
Like,
white
rock
people
bands.
music. What do you mean? All
There's
music
pop
is made
music.
by anybody,
Right.
made for everybody. Like
Lionel
why are you
Richie
saying
did a
that?
country album, something like that, right? Like he's like the epitome,
Just because
like
it's not a large group of black people in pop or
Doing
white
it,
people
like-
in rap doesn't
I
mean
used
that
to love One Direction.
you can
like,
put right.
Zayn Malik,
Right.
like
That's
where it's at.
Like, come on. But I don't think you should put a race to music because music is there for everybody to listen
Right.
to. Unless you
Right.
have really strict parents, then that's a whole other story. But if you can listen to any music, I encourage you to listen to all types of music because you never know you
Yeah.
might find something you like. I
And just-
love the 1975.
whoop whoop. And just because you're like African American does not mean you need to listen to tribe music to
Right.
feel like you fit in.
I'm like,
You can listen to
exactly.
your little gospel music, your
Don't put
little
me in a
like
stereotype.
you can listen to any music you want to listen. Just because you're from this certain type of area does not mean that you have to listen to that type of music. You can listen to country. You can listen to rock, and you can listen to screamo. I don't care.
Yes.
You are who you are, and I think
And
that's
you
how it
should
should be.
embrace it because
Yeah.
being like everybody else, you're not gonna be happy. If you're not who
For
you
real.
truly are,
Yeah.
then you're not gonna be happy.
Then do you think social media accurately reflects who you are?
No, because everybody
Considering
on
it's such a
social
big
media
part.
tries
Social media
to
is
be cool.
fake.
Everybody tries
Yes
to be
and
cool
no.
on social
Yes and
media.
no?
Bad Tinder dates.
So do you think social media really reflects who you are? And Rayon, I think, has an answer.
Yes and no, because like on Facebook, like you can share like pictures and stuff, like you know them gifs and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like some of them be like really inappropriate. So like, like you know, like
We can understand.
I don't want you like to get confused of what I post because that's not really who I am. I'm just sharing it because I seen somebody else shared it,
Yeah.
Right,
and I
right.
thought it was funny. So yeah,
I think mine. I mean, I think my Snapchat probably does because I put
You post your life.
Yeah, I put 1975 on there
So
all
I
the
am.
time. I post videos of me listening to Little Mix. I don't know. I think probably Snapchat. I don't really be on Instagram like post nothing on Instagram like that. I don't have a Facebook. That has too much drama in it. But I don't know.
Really?
I think, but some people who want to follow the trends and
Yeah.
be cool, they'll just put what's in now and what everybody else is doing instead of putting who they truly are. And I'm leader of the rebellion. Okay, I go against the trends.
And another thing, I think Instagram is all about gaining followers.
Right.
Whereas Snapchat, you have your group, your set of group friends on Snapchat. So like the people that you upset, I will hope to think that you like truly like them and like want them to see.
Yeah,
Like what
who
you're
you
doing
really
with your
are.
life,
You're inviting
who
them
you,
into your
yeah,
life,
you're inviting them. But
basically.
whereas Instagram, you're like everybody sees it. Like
Unless it's
Doesn't matter.
private.
yeah, you have to put on like I guess a front
Right.
and necessarily to like please everyone. That's,
Yeah.
I think social
wanna get
media
them likes.
does both. I think it does bring us together, but then, and in some light, it does bring us like tear us apart a little bit because it brings us together. Like what we see on social media, we want to do. So like we're coming together and we're doing stuff. But at the same time, we're also doing things that are not us. You know, we're trying to be like what other people.
we're trying to fit in.
Yeah, we're trying to fit into the social standards and what we see on the internet, and like that's why I think I really do prefer Snapchat. Because
No
I,
comments, no
I
nothing.
really
You
do,
have control over who
yeah,
you want.
and the fact of the matter is, there's no comments on Snapchat.
Unless it's a private chat.
And yeah, unless it's a
Yeah.
private chat
Where
but you
nobody
don't have
else
to open
sees
it where
it.
nobody else sees it. But
Yeah.
in a lot of social media, people comment, and their comments are just
Nasty.
Horrible. Like,
They're
it makes
nasty.
People feel so bad that they kill themselves.
Yeah.
Or they feel like they have to
You're
change
like,
themselves.
I don't
Like,
There is,
understand.
and
What's the-
Snapchat only lasts for 24 hours, and
Yeah.
and you see whoever screenshots your
Yeah,
stuff.
and it's
So if
like,
someone screenshots your
problem?
stuff, yeah,
You could just
you'll
check them
know.
like that.
You
Yeah.
can check them. So I think it's more of a safety thing. I prefer Snapchat over everything,
Yeah.
and it's quick.
Yeah.
Snapchat is like 10
Yes.
seconds. What are you gonna put in there?
Snap
Like,
a picture, post it, done.
yeah, like it's that easy, and then it'll stay there for only 24 hours. So I
Yeah.
prefer that than
Snapchat
any other
got it
method.
right. Instagram
Right.
trying to be like Snapchat.
But do you guys think you can be summed up in something that like a snap?
I mean, it's
And multiple snaps.
Yeah.
and multiple
Not
snaps.
just one
can make-
snap, multiple snaps.
Snap is described as a story, so you can make your own story.
It's
Not
all
just-
you.
And yeah, not just like your life, but like what
You
you're
pick the
doing that
people
day.
Yeah.
who see your snap. Like if someone wants to follow you, I mean, or like add you, they'll have to add you. But like
You have
like,
to approve it.
You
have
have
to
the
approve
option
it.
to accept them or allow them to like
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
your story.
And you can
You
just
have to
easily
accept it.
block them.
Right.
So true. They can't screenshot anything without you knowing. So a lot
Yeah,
of people,
because on
a lot of
Instagram they
people,
can screenshot anything.
Right.
Because so at the beginning of the year, there was one of the girls that go to our school. She was telling me how there was a fake page made, and they used my picture. And then the person was like sending her stuff, and she thought it was me, and it was my name too, but it was spelled differently. And I'm like, no, that's not me. And like I would have never known. Unless
Right.
you told me.
That's another thing. That's like catfishing. Like
right, catfishing.
comes from Instagram and Facebook, like
love
things like
catfish.
that.
Right.
And that harms people and that hurts people.
In Snapchat, and I think people are like, people behind the message board, people are so afraid.
Right.
I mean not behind the message board, people are
behind the screen.
Yeah, people behind the screen, people are like so brave and like, you know, out there, they can do all they want to, but when it comes to like the real world,
Not confront you.
they're not gonna say anything. So like if you expose someone, or like someone is like know they're like gonna get in trouble or gonna get exposed, they're not gonna do something like, you know, screenshotting your picture or like, you know, stuff like that. If they know, I would know if you screenshot my picture, like they wouldn't do it.
Right.
That's kind of how well, going back to like the whole race thing, like when on Instagram and stuff, you have like white girls who people say want to be black or are acting black, or black girls who want to be white, and it's like, I don't know, I don't get that.
I don't get it either.
Cause like
one thing, how can you act the color? So
right.
Like, when people say
I know
that,
like if a white girl has cornrows, it's like oh,
you
she trying to be black.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you
like,
sound white. I'm like,
how I sound white?
Because I'm educated.
Right.
Yeah, like when you speak like differently, like, oh my goodness, we had this huge debate with Ms. Beatty last year. Ms. Beatty and I were having a conversation, and some of the students, because the way I spoke to her, I speak differently the way I speak to my friends is not the way I speak to, you know, an adult.
Different.
Yeah, I speak differently. I have that, you know, I have that boundary.
Yes.
For an adult versus my peer. So when I'm talking to her, and when the students were like, oh, you talk white, and Miss Beatty and I, we looked at her, it was like, we talk white. Is it because we talk proper or we speak properly? And I'm just like, there's no like talking white. Like
there's like,
are you trying to downgrade like, you know, the African American community because we speak in Ebonics most of the time? Because like I think that
African American vernacular.
Yeah, African American vernacular. That's how we speak. Like
last week there was a teacher. I don't remember what I said, but I remember her saying, she was like, "Oh, you don't know how to speak proper English," and I'm like, "What do you mean? Am I not speaking English?" Like, where
Ebonics is a real language, right?
It's actually called African American Vernacular English now. They've made it AVE. They made it really sound complicated, but
you want me to talk how you talk, all like large words and proper grammar and all this. Like I do that when I feel it's necessary, but if I'm like around my friends and stuff, I'm gonna talk how I normally talk. And the fact that when I leave school, I go home. I go to the hood where no one speaks proper English, quote unquote. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what you telling me is gonna go out in one ear, out the other. And I was kind of offended because it's like, if you hear how I talk and how some other students in the schools talk, like, there's a huge difference for you to say that I don't know how to speak proper English. Like, I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Different scenarios. They need to have different tones. Like,
right.
You wouldn't talk to your boss like how you would talk to
your mom,
your
brother,
or at a job interview, one of your college interview.
Right. Like different. You need to have a tone like you, and like you wouldn't talk to your one of your friends like you would talk to your boss like stuff like that. You need to have different like.
We need to know how to level it out.
Like, you know, language like
it is actually
because there are certain words that I don't know that teachers say, and there's certain words that if they come to our side of town that they won't know. So it's like, I think it's good to be able to speak what some would consider proper English in, what is it,
African American vernacular English.
I learned that as Ebonics when I first
It was so like,
especially if you live in the hood.
Wait, what
about
changed?
6 years ago they changed it. The thing is, I see where you guys. I see where the teacher's coming from because you don't actually learn the African American vernacular. I'm just going to call it AAVE. Is an actual language. It has rules. It has grammar. It stretches across cultures. And I learned that because I went to a teacher prep program and I went to one in St. Louis, which has a very large African American community and also has a lot of racial tension. And so I learned that. I shouldn't expect you guys to speak in this proper way because the way that you speak is proper to you, depending on what situation you're in. And so, but a lot of people are not educated that way, right? If you're not expected to interact with a lot of African American dominant communities in a more casual setting, like we are sometimes in the classroom, then they're not told that this is appropriate or told that this is not the way it is, but it's just as proper as the way I'm speaking to you guys right now. And so there's definitely, that's kind of where I like how things like Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram have come along because it's normalized a lot of what used to be denigrated and seen as less than. It's normalized, like African American vernacular used to be like, oh, it's so bad, it's so improper. But I think it's become more part of pop culture and more accepted. There's still a long way to go.
Right.
But I think it's very interesting that you learned it as Ebonics. They've changed.
That's how I learned it. I learned it a while ago. We was like reading, like there was Arthur Zara Neale Hurston or something like that.
Zara Neale Hurston.
Yeah,
yes.
she used Ebonics in her writing, and we talked about it and we learned about it. I was like, wow. I thought
Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou.
Yeah, like I thought before you said that, I thought that our language that we like speak in was hood, but I didn't know that it was the actual language, and I finally learned to accept that how I speak is proper to me. But like I said, there's different times and places for how you speak.
Yeah, and there's like different. It's called code switching.
Yeah,
where you switch from one different to another one.
The way I thought about it was, if you think I speak improperly, it's your fault because you're my teacher and you're supposed to teach me to speak properly. So
there is also that, like there is, because it is our responsibility to teach you like the English that is expected of you in
the workplace.
In the workplace. And there's certain elements of racism and elitism there too.
Don't get me started on school. Oh my goodness.
On
the school, kind of racism, like what they teach us. Like, okay, like one more thing. Like we have like 1 month of African American history, like 1 month.
And it's the shortest
about
month.
the white
And it's
people,
the shortest
yes.
month. And versus and then that's like the one little month that we watched. We watched like one Ruby Bridges film. And then the rest of the months we went like, we met her too. And then the rest of the years were like, European history. I just thought that was kind of weird.
It is. There's definitely restructuring that has to happen, and a lot of your teachers and especially in our school, try very hard. But there's a lot of things up against us. We take our steps as we can. Baby steps. We're getting there. You should always speak up for yourself.
On to that, do you think African American history should be taught by an African American? Because I've seen like so many things on like Instagram and stuff, and it's like people saying like you have your child's history being taught by someone who has no idea, like the struggle and stuff.
I think
because like they were taught it by somebody else.
That does not matter.
I don't know.
I don't think that matters at all. I think if the teacher,
fact that it's being taught,
the fact that it's being taught correctly, that should be what matters. Because I think if the teacher has learned to teach it correctly, and I think that she has he or she has that knowledge in their mind, and I think they've learned to accept it, or like they've been educated about it. I don't matter who teaches. I don't matter like what color the skin like a teacher teaches about African American history, as long as they're teaching it correctly.
I think a person who has my same color and who's teaching African American would have a better understanding of what they're teaching. So like
I feel like it would be a better connection too.
Yeah, there would be a better connection.
They will have more emotion into it than another race
rather
would.
than a Caucasian person.
That's true.
Now, before we wrap up, really quickly, because it's before Thanksgiving, and I'm sorry, Rayon, to steal this from you, but we're a little bit short on time. Really quickly, go around and say something or someone that you're thankful to before we close out.
I'm thankful for Jesus because like I would not be here right now around my friends and family. He blessed me with a house to live, with clothes, shelter, all of that.
Lovely.
I'm thankful for my mom and like the people who lift me up and stuff, and music, because I love music.
Yeah, I'm thankful for music. It gets me through some tough times. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for food.
Yes, and clean water.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for my parents and my family that support me every day, and I'm thankful for the opportunity America has given me. Although people we're like anti-America right now, but like I'm really thankful for the opportunity it's given me.
We are unfortunately out of time. We hope that we have entertained and enlightened you. Thank you to our sound engineer, Vinny, and thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. Thank you, Bonetta, Rayon, Zara, and Amsiani on the StemCivics Show. STEM out.
STEM out.
I forgot his man, but I'm sorry.